My favorite metal album is Rust in Peace because I grew up kind of with it. I don't really listen to metal that much anymore. I can find an album that I like, more maybe, but Rust in Peace has a special place in my heart. In it! The solos are just like, I did not realize guitar could sound like that. The articulation is just phenomenal. The speed is phenomenal. It's still melodic, and it's still so hard to play and technical.
Marty Friedman, please, Marty Friedman.
You're like you got fucking rickets.
I think my favorite metal album would have to be Via by Volumes. When I first heard that, it really kind of changed a lot of things for my guitar playing. I just thought it was so cool to hear a band that was very rhythmic heavy, but not too complicated like Meshuggah. Like it still had a really obvious groove and was bouncy, and it wasn't like impossible to play. So it made it a little bit more aspirational for like I could do that.
First thing that comes to mind is probably gonna have to be Parkway Drive's Horizons. Beginning to end, just a melodic masterpiece that just, Be Still My Heart. It's just perfection, man. I mean, the riffs, the production, who gives a fuck about the lyrics? First time I heard Parkway Drive's Horizons, as a matter of fact, was in a Hot Topic. They had like the little CD with the headphones and you can you know, select the thing. And yeah, for shits and giggles, I just like put on the headphones and I hit like 3. And the first song was Idols and Anchors, and bro, that was, holy crap, I never heard anything quite like that. Idols and Anchors is a great one.
Let's go The Way of All Flesh. We're gonna go Gojira. I don't even know that album particularly well, but like, it's very clearly like seminal for a number of different bands. And you've got a mixture of like weird synth business, you've got the pitched scream, you've got billet business, you got some gangle, 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 you got blast beats, you got Randy Blythe for some reason.
So my favorite metal album is Conquering Dystopia, Jeff Loomis and Keith Merrill band. I love that because it's so technical and heavy.
Jeff Loomis, is he one of your favorite lead guitar players?
Yeah, he's the one for me.
Nice.
Yeah, Jeff Loomis, Keith Merrill, Wes Hawk.
My favorite metal album of all time, to be honest, like probably Far Beyond Driven by Pantera, because it's just muscle. It's American muscle. I didn't realize that metal can be that heavy. That was in the days of downloading music illegally off Napster, which I did a lot. But I bought all of my Metallica albums.
What's your favorite track off the album?
Slaughtered.
My favorite metal album is City of Evil by Avenged Sevenfold, mainly because it brings me back to middle school when I started getting really into drumming and I got really inspired by the rev. My favorite track would probably be Sidewinder, because there's a lot of dancing there and it's heavy, and the entire album, it's really hard to choose a favorite from that album, but Sidewinder is definitely one of the tops.
What do you think of the new album?
Actually, I really did not like the singles when they came out. I was really confused, but then with time I just kind of got into it more and more. There's a lot of people that didn't like it because it's so all over the place and crazy, but I actually now appreciate that a lot because it's so out of the box.
My favorite metal album of all time has to go to Disillusion, the album Back to Times of Splendor. It's like proggy death metal, and it's perfect. It's a concept album. There's only like 5 songs on it, but they're all super long and it just flows perfectly from beginning to end, like one giant song. And it's just like, oh.
So for anyone who wants to get into it, what would be the best track to start with, do you reckon?
Oh, probably And the Mirror Cracked. That's like, I think it's the first song on the album, but it's like hits really hard. It's so cool because the band doesn't really have breakdowns. It's like, it's heavy, but you like without having breakdowns. That's how you know it's good.
My favorite metal album of all time is Fall of Ideals by All That Remains. It riffs fucking hard. It's got good bass breakdowns, some of the best solos ever made, period. Don't question why, it's just facts. And it makes me happy when I listen to it.
My favorite metal album, if I could choose one, is probably Periphery 2, because it had, I don't know, had quite a big impact on me in my teenage years, I would say. It's like the OG, like there's a lot of really classic Periphery.
Nice. I didn't have you down as a Periphery fan.
I'm a massive Periphery fan.
My favorite metal album is Language by the Contortionist. It was one of the first albums I listened to all the way through, and it was like an ethereal experience. That was like one of the first times I heard instrumentals that was like moved me emotionally, and it like changed, it like opened a new perspective to music for me, and it's just like genuine artistry. They're one of the fucking coolest bands to me. I love that group.
My favorite metal album of all time is Van Halen 1. I remember hearing Van Halen, specifically that album, when I was about 13 years old. My dad had it, and I listened to it, and instantly I was blown away. I just wanted to be Eddie Van Halen. I even grew my hair out to look like his. Looked terrible, by the way. I didn't have his style. But just the music, the shredding guitar, there was just the energy about it. I just fell in love with it, and that's the reason why I started to play guitar. My favorite Van Halen track, probably, this is gonna be a funny one, but Ice Cream Man, because the solo section in that song, I listened to that like 1,000 times, and I just could not wrap my head around it as a teenager, but I thought it was the coolest sounding thing I've ever heard.
That's a 300 IQ pick of that.
Yeah. Yeah, Van Halen is it for me, for sure.
Alright mate, do that, do that, do that. Nice one.